Hello everybody, my name is Evan and welcome to Flatline. Today I'm going to be talking about MW3, and now I know that's kind of pointless considering Black Ops 2 is set to release in about 2 or 3 days at the time of me doing this commentary, but I figured I would say my farewell to this game by reviewing the good and bad of it before I throw it on the shelf and let it collect dust for the next year or two, or until I decide to go over to GameStop and trade it in for a measly $2. So like I said, there was good and bad with this game. Mostly bad, in my opinion. Some people would disagree, and that's totally fine, but there was some good, and a lot of people seem to disregard that because they have nothing but frustration in their eyes over this game. And for me, trust me, I've had many days of frustration. I've definitely thought of destroying this game multiple times, or just pissing on it, or setting it on fire. My god, the frustration this game has brought me, and I've never been so frustrated with a COD before. But I'm going to go over the good and bad, because like I said, there was a lot of good elements that a lot of people seem to disregard. So to start off, I'm going to go over the bad things. There was quite a few of them, but I'm only going to go over a few just because I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long. So the most frustrating element of this game was lag compensation. Now, the idea itself, in theory, was a very good idea. Regardless of your internet connection, everybody will be on the same playing field. But they didn't take into regard people with just absolutely terrible internet connections, and when they got hosts, it affected everyone in a very negative way. There's been so many situations in-game where I'll go one-on-one against a player and my shots are hitting him directly, but yet the screen shows the bullet's not even coming close to him. The frustration with that was immense, and many a times I felt like destroying my controller or punching a hole in a wall, but I held back, I composed myself, and moved on. That was probably the most frustrating element of this game. I applaud Infinity Ward for attempting this, but in the end, it just didn't work out. Another frustrating element, and one of the bad elements of this game, was spawns. My god, if you remember when the game first released, regardless of the game type, you would have players of opposing teams spawning right next to you. It was ridiculous. Now, Infinity Ward and Activision had made claims that they had changed these spawn systems, but really they didn't, because in the end, I mean, this is 11 months down the road, I'm still going into games and having opposing players spawn right next to me. It's ridiculous. Now, their reasoning behind, altering the spawn system from what it was in previous CODs was to keep a faster paced game regardless of the size of the maps. And I understand that was directly from the community they got that from. Players were screaming for more fast paced gameplay. And, Black Ops really didn't bring that. A lot of people claim, Black Ops was kind of a slower paced game. So, the community was screaming, give us fast pace, give us fast pace. So Infinity Ward got in there, they made an attempt at it, and it failed miserably. They didn't really alter it. I mean, they released a few patches that made claims that it would change the spawn system and things would work out better, but ultimately, it really didn't. So those are two really frustrating elements for me, and a lot of people, I'm sure, were really frustrated by it. But I kind of want to move on to the positives, which a lot of people seem to disregard. One thing that Infinity Ward had never applied to their games was support. Never. You look at COD 4, I mean, we had Frag Times 3, we had Juggernaut, all that crap, which was frustrating, and the community screamed at them to change it, but they never did. MW2, we had Noob Tubes, Danger Close, I mean, Commando. It was insane, and we yelled at them, and we screamed, and they made no changes. With MW3, when there was a problem, they got on it. They changed it right away, man, and I have to applaud them on that. I mean, the Kimbo's FMG9s, those were such a frustrating element of the game, and they were so OP, and I applaud Infinity Ward for dumbing them down a bit. They still are the best secondary, but not what they were when the game was first released. So customer support, or just overall support for their game, was definitely up there, and it was such a big improvement from the previous CODs that Infinity Ward had worked on, like I said, MW2 and COD 4. Another element that they brought to the COD franchise as a whole, but it's first started with MW3, is Elite. A lot of people were like, "This is a stupid a stupid element to be bringing in, and a stupid thing for us to be charged for. It should be free." And we yelled at these people through Twitter and so on and so forth. But in the end, it was a great service, in my opinion. I mean, I spent $50 for it, and I ended up getting 17 multiplayer maps in the end. I'm happy with that, man, because if I didn't have Elite Service, I'd be paying a lot more, if you think about it. And we also got a lot of free maps, too, which is something 402, which was kind of the community manager of Infinity Ward, really pushed for. And he eventually left Infinity Ward, but prior to leaving, I mean, this was one of the big things he pushed for, was getting free maps to the community, kind of paying us back in a way. And I applaud him for that. It was a great farewell on his behalf by, you know, throwing us something, and thank you, sir. I appreciate it. But anyway, so I kind of went over some good and some bad of MW3. Ultimately, I feel it was one of the worst CODs in the franchise, but now, that being said, it's not a bad game. If I were to compare this game to other first-person shooters, like say something like Crysis. Now, Crysis 2, specifically, I like that game. I think it's fun. But if I had to choose between Crysis 2 and MW3, I would choose MW3 9 times out of 10. It's just a better game. I mean, the COD franchise has perfected the FPS genre, so, I mean, really, regardless what they put out, as long as they haven't altered just how the game runs, in a sense, I mean, I will always go to COD. Because, like I said, they've perfected what an FPS is, in my opinion. But, so, to say the least, I mean, MW3 was a good game, but comparably to other CODs, it was one of the worst, in my opinion. And I have no problem with saying farewell to this game, and again, throwing it on my shelf, or letting it collect dust, or even, who knows, maybe I'll set it on fire one day and post a video up on this channel. But, overall, I mean, the game is what it is. I mean, it distracted me for about 6 months or so, where I was like heavily playing it, even though for most of the time I didn't really enjoy it. I got my money's worth. I got a lot of multiplayer content out of it, and also a lot of frustration. A lot of days where I was nearly in tears with the frustration, to be completely honest. But that's just me. So anyway, I'm anticipating Black Ops 2. I mean, I cannot wait for it. It's set to release in a few days, and I'm so damn excited. There's going to be a lot of Black Ops 2 content on our channel. Charles is not so much into the COD franchise, not as much as I am, but I'm going to really push to get out a lot of content. I'm going to maybe do a playthrough of the campaign, definitely a lot of multiplayer stuff. There's going to be some zombies that me and Charles will hopefully do together, because he's actually buying the game. I forced him to buy it. Well, I had to buy NHL 13, which was a game I didn't really want to get, but in the end, he's got it, so there's definitely going to be a lot of COD content on our channel as soon as the game is released, but I'm ready for it, and in closing, farewell, MW3. You were kind of like the ugly chick that we kind of just stuck around with because of the people you know, if that makes any sense. Anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave us a like, perhaps a favorite, and if you really enjoyed this content and you want to see more of it, subscribe to our channel for more of it, for more content. And I'll talk to you guys later. Alrighty, peace.